Hello everybody, Michael here, and today I'm going to be talking about how I feel like Rainbow Six Siege and the problems that I have with the game at the moment in Operation Shadow Legacy. If you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to click the red subscribe button, and I'm here with a notepad to talk about Rainbow Six Siege and how I feel about the game and how maybe I could give some tips on how I think they could fix the game. And like all games, there's a big issue nowadays between there's a issue nowadays between the casual scene and the professional scene. And on console, I'm like, if I were to put it on like 1 to 10 scale, I'd be like a 7. I'm pretty good at Siege on Xbox, and on PC I'm not too bad, probably a 6, and I'm getting better at PC on all accounts. So all in all, I'm pretty good at Siege. I know what I'm doing, but definitely not a professional. So you got the casual scene versus competitive, and there's always a issue between the two, casual and comp. You will see this in all games. Call of Duty, CSGO, Fortnite even. There's a difference between casual and comp, and in my opinion, in Fortnite's case, if they didn't make it competitive, the game might still be fun to this day. But the thing with Siege is it's built for comp, so I definitely think it's supposed to be in. But that's the one thing. For casual people, they like flooded content and stuff like that, and for comp, for example, the Chachanka rework, casual, they love it. Comp, but skeptical. So that is basically the differences between the two. So I'm gonna go through a few things off the top of my head in this first video of why I think Siege is in a downward slope. And I'm going to be talking about certain things that I personally become very frustrated with on both platforms. So I play on Xbox and PC, so I got both sides of the story and all of that. So I'm going to go through a few issues. I'm going to start with PC first. So I'm going to go from both. So before I do that, I'm going to talk about the meta right now. So right now, it's the utility meta. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically the more utility, like right now in the game, you have the operators that are picked at the moment is operators with utility. So a shield, for example, Jaeger with my utility taking away. And as I've seen by other YouTubers on Siege, the defender controls Siege. Art and Art, the defensive side on Siege controls it completely. So if you have, for example, in Pro League, they can see who you bring. So if they bring, for example, Smoke and a Wamai and a Jaeger and stuff, you would need someone with flashbangs, and you would need like an Ashe or a Sophia or a Kali to get rid of the utility. So the defenders basically choose how the game's gonna go. And at the moment, personally, I don't really care that much about it. I actually quite like how it works, and the utility meta doesn't really work very well if your team isn't coordinated. For example, Cigar on Cafe. If you're coordinated, you would put a shield by the by the pillar and you put a Jaeger ADS so it doesn't explode. Same thing with Bakery and Jaeger. If your team, for example, in Pro League is very good and very coordinated, then the utility meta can be impossible. If you're good at the game, when they're trying to get rid of the shield or the ADS, you just peek over it and you kill them, and it can be very annoying. But personally, haven't seen much of an issue personally with me, because I'm more of the casual side. Like, I'm probably 70% competitive, 30% casual, so I see both sides of the story, and I think it's pretty much the same with the utility meta from Xbox to PC. So this is the current meta. I would love to see it develop and change. Have heard people talking about maybe removing shields on smoke, so you have to bring maybe an Ela and mix up the team a bit. But at the moment in Pro League, the lineup is Ashe, Sophia, Sledge, from what I've been watching at least, and then like sometimes a Callie and a Thatcher, and a Hard Breach, obviously. That would be the attacking side, and it's always that. It never changes. It is only that. The only thing that changes is the Callie and the Thatcher and the Hard Breach types. That's it, really. You will always have a Sophia and an Ashe, because they have stuff to remove utility. So that is basic rundown on the thing. I'm gonna start with Xbox actually, because I have more things that really trigger me on it is DDoSing and mouse and keyboard. So mouse and keyboard on PC, mouse and keyboard on Xbox is actually, it's pretty rare for me at least. There has been certain scenarios, because I'm gold on Xbox, where someone's movement, for example, is a little bit too good to be true. But in my opinion, mouse and keyboard on Xbox is not as big of an issue than DDoSing. So the thing with DDoSing on mouse and keyboard is people will use a certain app. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want people to talk about it or use it. But there's an app out there where they can get your Xbox username and they can find your latest IP and your internet type, and they will use certain DDoSing websites and they will boot you offline. And the way to sort of combine that is getting VPN, so like NordVPN and ExpressVPN, and activating it when you're playing ranked. But I'm pretty sure you can also get DDoSed on Xbox, but it's not as common in my opinion. So that is, in my opinion, the biggest issue with Xbox is the DDoSing. That's a big issue in my opinion. I've been DDoSed so many times on Xbox, and that's what pushed me over the edge to actually get a VPN. So that is the one issue with Xbox. The other issue with Xbox, of course, is 60 FPS. It's very sluggish if you go into PC, and that will be changed for the Xbox Series S and X. It will go to 120 FPS. And the one other thing on the consoles is the field of view. Now, the thing with the field of view, if it's more zoomed out, it's easier to control recoil. People don't understand that. It's a bit weird, but it's easier to control it if your resolution is more zoomed out, which you cannot do on Xbox. And I have seen myself trying different resolutions on PC, and they really do help. So that's my biggest issue with Xbox. The other one is the test servers. It's not on Xbox. In my opinion, the majority of Siege players, I believe, is on the consoles. So they don't have that option to try out the Tachanka rework or the and that kind of stuff, because on PC right at the moment, the latest patch came out where Oryx has Legion's gun and Melusi has the MP5 and stuff. That's on PC, but it hasn't come to Xbox yet, and I don't know why. And the reason why I know that is because I have Black Ice on Xbox, and I went to apply it, and I can't even remember what the gun was called, but it's still on Melusi on Xbox, so they haven't even updated the server. Very weird, but I guess that makes sense, and I'm definitely not on the test server. It was given to the base game. It's probably in the game now, but for about a week or so, it was only on PC. So there's definitely a bias, I think, for Rainbow Six Siege on PC, and I think they give more benefits, and I also believe that they patch bugs first on PC and then on Xbox and PS4. So definitely an issue that I see in the game. And the biggest thing with that in PC, hackers, those are pretty obvious. On PC, I've come across a few hackers. Most of the time they're closet cheaters, which means that it's not that obvious, and sometimes you can't even tell. For example, they have wall hacks, for example, but it's very mild, so you can't really tell. Like, they play it off like they don't, but they still get banned. That's the one way I've had multiple people playing with, for example, in unranked or ranked, right? We're playing the game, and the guy leaves the game, and at the top right of the screen it says someone was banned due to cheating, which I'm assuming they had some sort of closet cheats. And there have been a few times where people be teleporting to spawn and killing the entire team and stuff like that. So that's a big issue with Siege. And the one thing that I've taken a huge break on Xbox, because in Siege, once you get past like level 50, there's no reason to play the game. And what I mean is, like, I got to gold on Xbox. That's what I was trying to get. I got it, and I'm just not gonna play anymore. I know that's a bad way to look at it, but the game, in my opinion, once you get past level 50, there's literally no reason to play the game. So, for example, if someone's over a level 100, they don't get anything extra, you know? Like, if someone's level 500, for example, Macy J, they don't get anything for doing that. So there's no rewards for playing the game a lot, and that's something that I think they should change. You know, I also think people don't get enough rewards for playing ranked, and the MMR rollback system and stuff like that just really is very bad. On PC at the moment for me, the game hasn't been starting. It's probably my PC, but it goes through like the Ubisoft logo screen and it just goes black and it doesn't load in, and that's something that has been happening lately. But those were a few points that I have at the moment. Siege isn't very fun for me. I play it like once a day, and that's about it for like a small period of time. And I've really gotten back into other games like Minecraft and NASCAR 15, and I've had a bit of fun other places on PC and tried out new games on Xbox. And the one thing that I wish they would do, personally, is to connect the accounts on both sides, so you could use your Xbox account on PC. That would eliminate like stuff like that. But that gets to my next point: smurfing. So smurfing is a huge issue. especially on Xbox, because you don't need to buy a new account on Xbox. On PC, I believe you do. On Xbox, all you need to do is create a free account. It takes you 3 minutes, and there you go. You got a brand new account. It is so frustrating because, like, I remember at the beginning of Shadow Legacy, when I were to, at the beginning of Shadow Legacy, I can just remember the horrible time that I had. From what I remember, you have 10 players in a game. I'd say 3 or 4 were smurfing every single game. Some of the time, they would be smurfing, and they were terrible at the game. They were not good. They were smurfing just because they were, and they weren't even good. And then you would have the same thing where someone in, like, platinum is in gold, and stuff like that. So that's an issue highly with that, and people going into couple lobbies, dropping down and stomping on kids. That is a big thing as well. And yeah, that's an issue in Siege. And I'd say the biggest issue right now for Siege is the integrity of the community. Ever since the Tachanka rework came out, people have been very negative about it, and giving crap to the developers even before they've tried it out and stuff, and it has put a very negative shine on something that should have been fun. For example, the highly anticipated Tachanka rework. So that, and because it almost feels like the community is running the game, not Ubisoft, you know. I think that's pretty decent statement. I think, and to be honest, as I was saying, the main thing that I really hate about Siege at the moment is, like, there's really no reason to play, you know, unless you're like a diamond and a champion and that kind of stuff. On PC, it's very hard to find teammates as well. That's something I've been getting plagued with, which would make me solo queue, which would put me into random games, that would put me against players that are way too good, and my team's bad, and we lose 4-0, and it makes me get offline because I don't feel like losing my elo anymore. One thing that I've seen as well is the Rainbow Six Siege chat. I don't know what Ubisoft is doing. They're really stupid, but basically, in the chat, they will block out certain words. But for example, you can see, I've seen people use the N-word, FAG, all these very, very stupid words, and the Ubisoft text chat doesn't block it out. So you could have a 7-year-old playing Siege, and this only plagues the PC part, because Xbox doesn't have a alt chat. But still, I mean, people can say words that probably shouldn't be able to see. Like, if you straight up say the word, it will get blocked, but instead you can, like, capitalize a word in the middle of the sentence, for example, and it won't block it out, and it will go through. So stuff like that, Ubisoft really needs to account with that. I remember GetFlank saying, if you make a certain account, you need to have a certain phone number attached to it, and that would solve certain issues. Because if you didn't know, you can't just get phone numbers like emails. You can just make a brand new email, easy, whatever. But for phone numbers, it's very different. Pretty sure you have to pay for them, and you can't just get a new one, you know, dilly-dilly. So if you would have to attach a phone number to an account, that would definitely that would definitely, I think at least, make it so less people are smurfing, or they would have to try a bit harder to actually get that smurfing account. So, that, the constant glitches in Shadow Legacy as well, sound bugs, that's one thing as well. The audio in Rainbow Six Siege, I'm going to be honest, when I started playing the game, I was like, these people are being very negative, but the Rainbow Six Siege audio is complete dog. It is so bad, it's crazy. Now, I don't know why it is, and they said that they fixed it, but they have not. This is one of the things that I can guess can be categorized under audio, but for some reason, my teammates' footsteps are loud as hell. They sound like I remember in a game someone was playing Vigil, I believe, on Coastline. I was in Aqua Prone, and I just heard this loud stomping, and I got off my drone thinking I was about to get pushed. Nearly shot my teammate because he was just running through. It literally sounded like a fuse or like a 3-armor, and it was just like the loudest blodging footsteps, and really, teammates' footsteps in Siege should not be heard. That's a thing in a lot of games, in my opinion at least. Teammates' footsteps should not be a thing, because then it really confuses, and I've seen me multiple times actually shooting my teammates, because like, by the time I click the button, I realize it's a teammate, because I have the nameplates off my on Siege, so there's not as much clutter on my screen. Footsteps and the sound and the audio itself, many people have said you can't trust the sound. You have to like second or third guess yourself every time you hear something. So for example, if I'm on Coastline, I'm in Blue Bar, and I hear something to my left, I have to peek through Kitchen, I have to peek through Sunrise, I have to peek 3-4 angles, because the audio is so bad, you can't even trust it. So, for example, I'm looking here, I'm in the doorway, I hear someone in Sunrise, but because the audio is so bad, I check all like 7 angles, cool vibes, I check all the angles to like second or third guess myself, because always, especially at the beginning of the game, it sounds like they're to my left in Sunrise. I peek Sunrise, oh, they're prone in Kitchen somehow. Really bad, and has come to my sort of like notice how bad the Siege audio is. And in my opinion, it's worse than Fortnite. If you think of Fortnite's audio, that's pretty bad. But the thing with Fortnite, the audio is very bad. You can hear someone on top of you and they're below you. That's bad. But the thing with Siege, you can hear someone behind you and they're somehow to your right. It's so random, and it's so bad. And, like, I don't know how, but there's so many glitches and bugs, and the sound audio is the one thing that just ticks you off bit by bit to the point where you stop playing the game for a week because you died to something that was completely stupid. Visual glitches, Ember Rise outfits, those are stupid. I don't get why that's a thing. Just the smallest things that tick you off slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly. And in my opinion, the biggest thing is the sound audio. Going back to that, it's so bad, it's crazy. It's like you have to have a sixth sense playing Siege. And the sixth sense is not good for the game. You have to have the sixth sense to, like, in Siege, you have to, like, double, triple, even quadruple doubt yourself about the sound audio, and it helps you play the game, which is really bad for the game that you can't even trust what's going on in the game. So I've, like, when I hear someone, I don't follow the game. I first, like, I spin around, check left, right, up, down, and then normally what I do is like check all the angles and then go to where I heard it, because I don't even know how many times I've died. Also, one other thing in Siege, stupid angles. Sometimes in Siege, for example, if you're looking up the staircase on, I think it's called White Stairs on Clubhouse, there's a slight angle where you go up from garage and into the doorway. If you're playing someone on top of stairs, there's an angle where you can't even see them, like, at all. You can't see them at all. They're not there on your screen. But the angle makes it so that the person in the doorway can see you perfectly. I have died countless times to randomly getting shot, and I have no idea where. I think the guy's wall hacking, and I checked the kill cam, and he's just peeking through a door that I can't even see. So many times I've been holding an angle on a door, and the guy peeks out and kills me, and I'm like, how did he just kill me? And then I check the kill cam, and he sees me for like 3 seconds because of how the angle works. So like, so many angles on Siege are so broken, and it makes no sense. And I don't understand why I can't see someone from the same angle that someone can see me. And I get that that's a basic function of the game, but it is so frustrating when you die to something that you couldn't, fix. That and having really bad teammates too. The matchmaking in Siege, in my opinion, is a bit broken, not gonna lie. I matchmake one game in unranked and I get a squad of platinums and they're insane and we win 4-0, and then I go in and I get little Timmy and Bob that are both level 10 and they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. They can't even like place down a plate of rook armor because they don't know how to press a button. How can they screw that matchmaking up so badly, And I don't know, it's so confusing to me how they could mess that up so badly, where you can go from a platinum lobby in unranked, and same thing, if I'm in gold, I can get a stack of plat 1s, or I can get a stack of silver 4s. It's so random, and it just doesn't make sense. And, yeah, I don't know what to say about it. Visual glitches, sound glitches, stupid angles that make no sense, hackers on PC, and just the stupidest stuff that shouldn't really be in the game. Client-side bodies as well. Those rarely make a difference, but when they do, it is so annoying. Clutter. You break a window and you can't see a person because a piece of the shard flies across your screen, and the fuse charge, that is the stupidest. It goes and it goes boop, 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 explodes, and your screen is shaking, and oh no, it is just like it's really bad. And the way that they nerf ops in Siege is like taking away optics, for example. That's not how you balance operators. I've heard multiple pro players saying that's so stupid. And in my opinion, and many other people, if you have a 1.5 times scope, you should have every single scope underneath it, So if I had a 3.0 times scope on Dokkaebi, I should have the option for the 2.5, the 2.0, the 1.5, and go all the way down. I shouldn't have to, like, if the optics there, I should have something underneath it. It makes no sense. On certain guns, for example, on certain guns, you have like the 2.5, the normal ACOG, and all of a sudden you don't have anything else, and it takes away. And then Ubisoft, when, for example, Melusi, it's annoying. The Melusi charge slows it down. It stops movement. It takes away the opportunity for the attacker to win the game in certain occasions. And instead of nerfing the Banshee, instead of taking from 3 to 2 or reducing the radius or something, they give her a MP5, which in my opinion isn't that bad, plus a angled grip, and that's it. So that's how they balance ops. They take away optics and they give them different guns. They don't address the issue at hand. And that's just, in my opinion, it isn't very smart of the game. If Glaz had 14 smoke grenades, you should take away the smoke grenades, not make the gun worse, if that makes sense, you know? So in my opinion, it's just not smart on the game to be doing what they're doing. But at the end of the day, I love Rainbow Six Siege. It is a great game. I love it. I've been playing it for like 3 or 4 years, and the game, it's great. One of the best games ever made. And the reason why I'm gonna bring out this video is constructive criticism. The game, most games, for example Fortnite, gets crumpled and thrown in the bin because people are too negative about the game. But sometimes negative and constructive criticism helps the game. So if they come out and stop DDoSing completely on Xbox, if they control the smurfing somehow, if they fix their goddamn audio, if they take away client-sided debris, if they do what is good for the game on both sides, casual and comp, not just for one side, for example, doing it for both sides, balancing it out, changing the meta to where the game's more fun, not making stupid choices like putting in a junk rift and someone dies stupidly. They do that and the game will be fire. The game is in an okay state at the moment, but I wish they could change just a few of them. If they fix the audio in like the next year, I will be so glad, because the audio in Siege is so bad, it's crazy. And I keep banging on about it, not to be negative, but just to let the developers know how stupid it is. So, that's my opinion at least. And that's where I'm gonna end it. If you guys like this, please tell me down below, leave a like and a subscription. I'll see you guys later.